Well, welcome to the Skyline Family of Companies COVID Construction webcast series. This is the first of a two-part series on the actual impacts on a job site.
Hi, my name's Tony Fontanetta. I'm the General Superintendent at Ascend Construction in Chicago.
And I am Tim Lally, the SQP Director for the Family of Companies. What we're going to talk about today is basic three things: communication, on-site procedures, and the big elephant in the room, the physical social distancing.
Some of us have had projects either halt, or we're going to even have a new project starting. We're going to have to adapt to a different form and procedure of communication. This communication is going to start with your team on what procedures you're going to use on those projects, as well as meeting with the building management, because I'm sure they have their own parameters and guidelines in place that you'll probably need to follow. And then as far as the project is concerned, sitting down with your architects and clients and checking RFIs that weren't completed, submittals, sitting down with shops, and especially going over your procurement log so you can then put together with your subcontractors a schedule from where you left off or where you need to be according to where you're at.
So the big thing with on-site procedures is everything is going to change. Our logistics plans, our batching, our accessing a space.
As far as logistics are concerned, what's the first thing we think of? How am I getting in the building and how am I getting my stuff up? So vertical transportation now is going to be very compromised with the social distancing issues. You're going to have to figure out the manpower you're going to have on the project, how you're getting them up, especially with the parameters of 2 to 4 people in those freight cars. And then bringing your deliveries and materials in mind. How's the stuff getting up there? Who's putting it on? Who's taking it off? As well as sitting with the building and finding out what other projects they have and taking their freight times into consideration.
Tone, the social distancing component for vertical transportation. Let's just say we have a job and we're on the 12th floor and we have 20 guys on that project. You think, I don't know if you've been to a store or liquor store lately.
I've been to quite a few lately, Tim. Thank you for asking.
There you go. You take a look at if we had 20 people and you know the 6-foot distance, those 20 people now take up a ballpark of 120 feet in a loading dock or loading zone, whatever it may be. And if we're not the only project in a building, say there's 2 or 3 other projects going on, you now take that 120 feet and times it by 3-4 jobs. It's a consideration that's going to have to be evaluated. You're going to have to work with your building team, building management, and everything else to decipher exactly how you're going to accomplish that.
You know, the next thing after the vertical transportation, our schedule considerations. 2 of the biggest things to help you with your schedule or manage and maintain it are project flow and batching. We've put together a little job site here, basic rudimentary one, freight car, entry, and kind of a little batch plan. What we intend to do with our new procedures and policies in place, showing where people can wash their hands and sanitize, your freight car, where are we coming in the building, how many people can get in there, as well as your loading zone to get into the space. Have a hand sanitizer there. We may even need to be doing temperature readings if it gets to some point. And then finally, breaking those batches down even smaller. In this case, we broke it down to 5 batches. This way we can ensure that the social distancing is adhered to and we know where people are going to be, and it kind of spreads them out a little more so it isn't so congested.
So talking about social distancing, you take a 10 by 10 typical office space. How many people can work in there? Well, if you're working on the perimeter, maybe you have 2 people. If he's working in the middle or he's working on the ceiling, guess what? There might only be 1. The days of stuffing a job with a lot of guys to finish it up in a hurry, that's going to be a thing of the past. One of the things that we have to do as a general contractor is almost give areas to a specific trade, try to minimize having 2 and 3 different trades in a space at the same time. Let that trade manage their own social distancing.
And I think the best way to do that, Tim, is by doing your 2-week look aheads, so you know where you need to be, kind of give you a snapshot of the future, as well as daily huddles. They're going to be more important than ever, managing your manpower, managing the site logistics, so the task handoffs are completed properly to ensure that you can adhere to those social distancing guidelines.
And then lastly, and it's not really truly COVID-19 related, but it's your site organization and your cleanliness. If I ask you which project here, the picture to the right or to the left, which one could be disinfected easier and faster, that answer would be to the picture to your right. The overall aesthetics, it's a cleaner job, it is a more productive job, it is a safer job. And in the COVID-19 era now, if we need to disinfect it, I don't care what you do to the project to the left, it's going to have to be more difficult, longer, and you're not going to disinfect it the same as you would to the project to the right.
And let's not fool ourselves, keeping those job sites maintained from the dock to the freight elevator to even wiping down the handles and rails on a job. It's going to take some extra labor and some extra coordination on the part of the people running the project. So that's all we have for now. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen to our webinar. We hope it was educational for y'all. Also, we put our contact information down there. If you have any additional questions, please contact Tim and I, and we'd be glad to answer your questions.